Hello and welcome back to Mars. Today we are going to speculate another pre-order before this year's San Diego Comic-Con. I'm not talking Street Fighter, I'm not talking Baki, sure as hell am not talking KOF. I am talking Darkstalkers. One of the most anticipated lines, I would say, to come out from Storm Arena, and definitely one of the most in demand when it comes to figures at 1/12 scale. So this lines up perfectly. As you can see in this video that was taken back in March at the Capcom Cup, you can see Morrigan is pretty much a final product ready for pre-order, right? There's something else I want to bring to your attention. That, of course, being what we currently have up for pre-order. Right now, we have 5 figures up for pre-order, 3 of which is from Alpha 3, and then we have Baki, of course. The one thing I want to point out is going to be the release dates for all of these pre-orders. The first thing we have here, the first figure we have is Baki coming in at Q3. Now we know Ryu and Ken are both coming out in Q2. Both figures are already out. More so Ken. Ryu, early releases have been giving out, like pre-codes or pre-figures you could call them, have been giving out. And this figure is going to be releasing probably in like 5 days or so. We will be having that review here on the channel, so make sure you stick around so you can watch that. I've got some very ambitious ideas for that review. And then, of course, we have the Ken Masters review we've just done here on the channel. We actually dropped it in the month of the 30th anniversary for Street Fighter Alpha. This whole year is the 30th anniversary for Street Fighter Alpha, which is awesome. Performed well, very well actually. Highly recommend you go and check that out if you want to see this figure outdoors in the nature setting. But let's go back to the topic at hand. So we have Yujiro Q4 and we have Sagat Q4. So what is the trend that we're seeing here? The trend is that it looks like from Q2 to Q4 we're going to be getting 2 releases per quarter. However, as it stands right now at this very moment, the only figure available for Q3 is Baki. So that leaves me with 2 conclusions. One, Baki is so important, so popular, that it can be the only figure released in Q3. Or we have another figure yet to be revealed for pre-order to release in Q3. Now you may think to yourself, well, the window is closing for this figure to come out in Q3, and that is exactly right. However, with the Ken Masters pre-order coming up in February and the Ryu pre-order coming up in February, it is now June. So that's what, 4 months, and we've already have these figures? Technically, I would say with Q3, we have until October, or maybe, I'm sorry, we have until September. So we're right in that sweet spot to where they could potentially release another pre-order, and I think it's going to be Darkstalkers Morrigan, because the figure is pretty much near completed. We've got 2 figures coming out in Q2. We've got another coming out in Q4. So really, unless again Baki is that important, we've got 2 figures coming out in Q3, and I am anticipating it being Morrigan, as you can see here. And maybe it could be another figure, maybe it could be Dan or whatever, but I feel like the best approach would be to go ahead and throw Darkstalkers out there this year. Imagine all the hype surrounding that, all of the fans of Jada who want them to do Darkstalkers. Storm Arena is doing that for you. A lot of hype, a lot of people would jump on this wagon and support this brand should they release Darkstalkers. They're doing phenomenal as it is. They're definitely turning heads. Those who were fans of, let's say, more towards Jada are now realizing that Storm Arena probably, or no, definitely is the better product. So to have Darkstalkers come out in a time where there's a high demand for it, especially in 2025, would be a huge win for Storm, and I think they would be smart enough to capitalize on that opportunity. We may see this figure at the San Diego Comic-Con. A bit of a stretch if I'm being honest, but I could definitely see it at the New York Comic-Con for sure, and I'm trying to be there, so I'll give you more updates. Hopefully I can make it because I want to do my own booth tours and shit like that. So, but when it comes to a potential pre-order, we can already kind of determine what the art style may be and things like that, or what they're going to try to try to do, right? As far as like the promotional images go. Now, as you can see here, I have Darkstalkers, but we don't see Lilith on the roster. So based off of that, and we see Lilith clear as day, she's right here. We don't see her on the Darkstalkers 1, so they're not basing this line off of Darkstalkers 1. More than likely, they're going to base it off of Darkstalkers 3, where Lilith was, that's where she debuted, I'm pretty sure. And, you know, there's a big roster here to choose from, and ultimately, probably this is the one to go with. Before we do that, I also want to bring up the fact that we do have the Storm Collectibles Morrigan already out and available if you prefer this scale. And we have a review here on the channel, outdoors in the nature setting. Make sure you go and check out the review. Try to build some hype for Morrigan as she is joining the Storm Arena line. Now let's go ahead and jump over there. You can see we have the whole bio for Morrigan. Again, shout out to Fighters Generation for providing all of this useful information, character arts, renders, animations, the whole 9 yards. So let's go ahead, we're going to take a look at the animations here and kind of see what some promotional images might be. I could definitely see maybe something like this here with her hands and how she's standing. Maybe that will be one of her sets of hands, assuming that she only has like 2 sets of hands. Again, you can see this is kind of like an iconic stance, I guess, for the character. It looks like she's doing that a lot. So maybe some open hands will be a giveaway. And even this pose right here with her like on the bats, that could potentially be another promotional image we might see. Oh, and that, okay, we have more here. Now, when it comes to like effect pieces and things like that, you know, depending on which game, I'm not sure where these renders are coming from. I'm sure some of you know down in the comments below. But I would say most definitely we're going to get the bat. So you can see the bats right here. That's almost a no-brainer. We're going to get closed fist too. So that's already like 2 pairs of hands for the figure. And then you're probably just going to get the bat. I would assume just the bat is what you're going to be getting. But you may get the leg parts too. So as far as promotional images go, definitely her in her stance waving her hands. I would say definitely her shooting off a bat. Yeah, these are some pretty wild animations actually. And then should they do something with the leg, you know, that could be another stance as well. And we're just gonna go about 3 or 4 pages in. Okay, so that's about it. And then, so yeah, I would say definitely this stance seems to be a very popular animation from Morrigan, so we're definitely going to see a promotional image of that stance. Definitely going to see the bat. I would say you're definitely going to see the bat, so a shot like that is going to be there. Let's see. Alright, so this probably wasn't the best example for promotional images for this line. Now you can see we're getting to different colors, but you get the gist of it. Like, a few of those stances we're going to see. You know, the figure looks good. It looks nicely done and articulated. We've already have somewhat a preview with the Storm Collectibles review we've already done on here on the channel. So yeah, I'm very excited for this line. I want to see where it goes because, you know, this IP, there's a lot of characters. You've got like a Frankenstein, the Wolf, you've got Felicia, the Mummy, you got the Samurai. So a lot is going on with Darkstalkers, and just having that in Storm Arena and having that ability to branch off into different lines with these type of mythical creatures is going to be a special treat for the whole collecting community. But that's all I got for today. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you all in the next one. Until then, peace.